Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. It's Azora Hype here, and I'm really excited to be here with you on Sunday with Helen from the Clueless Fangirl. It's actually been quite a bit of time since we've done a Star Wars stream. I think actually since the finale of The Mandalorian. So yeah, really cool to be back here. I see a lot of interesting people in the chat. We're going to get to some shout outs in a second, but yeah, Helen, welcome back. It's been a while.
It has been a while, but I've been busy, you as well, but I think it's finally time to talk Star Wars again, isn't it? Even though it's The Mandalorian.
So yeah, we let's get some shout outs in chat. We have 4 very large donations from Morley. Let's I got to scroll back up here. Getting that hype train started with a $50 donation. Love you both, Helen and Kyle. I thought I said fabulous hair. It says fabulous content on both of your channels. Thank you, Morley. For Baby Yoda, just cause. And if anybody notices my name on screen, I'm Azora Yoda today. Morley with another $10 donation. And we got a $25 donation because this is really funny. Because me and Helen were talking before the stream, like, toss a coin to your YouTuber.
No, you were saying that. I would never in my life use these words.
But anyways, Morley says, throwing credits, not Republic ones, to my 2 favorite YouTubers. May the force be with you. Drinks on me at Con of Thrones. So certainly, Mora, you just donated $100 or so. That will definitely go towards Drinks at Con of Thrones 2020 in Orlando. Which should be really exciting. I also see some really awesome people in chat. Like I said, I see Forrest Blurda, Lady H, Nicola. I also see Jess in chat, John Webster Film. We have Rick Hoppy, the Maester of Hoppy. I'm drinking some of your coffee right now. Christy of Oldstone. And I'm sure we will see, Kate Bertinsky, I see you as well. I'm sure we'll see some awesome people in chat. But yeah, Helen, not a ton of news on The Mandalorian Season 2, but I think we should start off with in that there's going to be an announcement sooner than we think on when the season is going to start. And it's already been rumored that it's not going to be coming out in November. It's going to come out actually at the start of October, somewhere maybe end of September, start of October. So we're going to get The Mandalorian Season 2 a lot sooner than we think.
Sorry, I'm chatting. What?
There's Urtach.
I'm busy. Yay, Adad, another fellow European. Depends on which side he lives on. I think he lives in Istanbul, right? He
lives in Turkey. That's correct.
Well, Istanbul is in Turkey.
I'm not sure if that's the exact city. But anyways, so quickly, let's do it. Let's do a recap of the end of season 1 because there were some really big things that happened, and we have a couple of questions from Maura Lee. I gracefully asked her. She makes donations. She supports a lot of different YouTubers, so I asked her if she wanted to have any questions or topics that were featured on stream today, and she said she wanted us to talk about the Dark Saber, which is actually the weapon that Mr. Moff Gideon is holding at the end of season 2. Now, I happen to have an article from Screen Rant, which is a site that talks about all sorts of different TV shows and stuff like that. And Giancarlo Esposito did an interview recently where he teased that there was going to be an epic lightsaber battle in season 2 of The Mandalorian. Now, what does that mean? There's been some rumors that we might see a Luke Skywalker at some point in The Mandalorian, or some Jedi or some Force users, because remember at the end of the season, The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda ended up escaping and they left and got away from Moff Gideon. So going to be really interesting. What do you think about that? Let's talk a little bit about, a little bit more about the Dark Saber than I do, Helen, and the new series of Clone Wars. I believe it's the last season, might actually, if you watch it on Disney Plus, might actually talk a little bit more about that. So let's talk a little bit about the Dark Saber to start off our stream today, because that was pretty high. It was almost an after credit scene, like you would see in the Avengers or something. You know what I mean? It was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I literally always waited because if you hear Mandalore and you know a bit about the lore of Mandalore and the Mandalorians and the Jedi, you know that the first Mandalorian created a Jedi lightsaber, and it was very different from the lightsabers you know. First of all, it was shorter and it was black. So just saying a bit of foreshadowing of what will happen with that saber, because I mean, throughout the canon, there were many colors of lightsabers, but not a dark one. And and it's super interesting. And I think that the main point that stands out to me with the Dark Saber is that non-Force users did wield it. Many. Yes, the first one who created it, Tar Vizsla was his name, from Vizsla clan. He was a Jedi. But then many others, like Sabine Wren from Rebels, Bo-Katan, and many others, and even Moff Gideon. They are not, well, we don't know about Moff Gideon, but I don't assume that he's a Force wielder. So that's super interesting, because from the lore, you only know Jedi. Well, there was Finn then introduced in the new movies, wielding a lightsaber. We don't know if he's Force sensitive or not, but he's not a Jedi, and that's so cool. And yeah, just a bit about the story. Many people had the saber during, because it's there since a really long time, it's kind of whoever is worthy of the saber gets the saber, which is like very Arthurian legend-ish, with yeah, and that vibe. You don't have that with the normal Jedi blades, right? Every Jedi creates their own blade, but this blade was given through the Vizsla clan from generation to generation, and now it is like the only one who's worthy of it can wield it, and that's so cool, and I love that. And even Darth Maul, because I said, it's a bit of foreshadowing that it's dark, because Darth Maul had it for a really long time when he came to Mandalore and ruled over Mandalore. So Darth Maul fought Darth Sidious, his former master, with a dark saber, for example. And it had so many people using it that like the history itself is like a book. And I really love that, because you don't have a real history of the sabers like you have in other fandoms, like Game of Thrones. You love Game of Thrones, I love Lord of the Rings, and you have a history of sabers, which is very similar to this one, and I love that.
One interesting thing too is if you are a fan of Star Wars, I highly recommend that you go check out Clone Wars and Rebels. Helen was talking about Vizsla. Pre-Vizsla, the leader of the terrorist organization known as the Death Watch, which is something that we might see another faction of Mandalorians in the Mandalorian season 2. That's something that we might see, because they were the people that tried to overthrow Duchess Satine. Like they were this other political faction that wanted to gain power, and there was this power struggle. And we always know that there's kind of this pacifist regime, and then there's more fascist regimes. We see that with Emperor Palpatine, which we're going to talk about a little bit about later. That's more a second question, but it's certainly really interesting. And just to read the quote to talk about what. Just a second, because before you say, before we come to Moff Gideon, Dan, the voice of reason, had a question and about who was the last wielder, and it was Sabine Wren from Rebels, but then she gave it. She was not the last person who had it. She gave it to Bo-Katan, who is the sister of the former governor of Mandalore. Duchess Satine, Obi-Wan's love interest. It's Satine's sister,
Yeah, and she's her sister. And Sabine Wren gave it to her. So she's the last known person that had it. But how did Moff Gideon? Now we come to you. How did Moff Gideon got it?
So really interesting. There was a fan expo via comicbook.com. This is where you can find the interview. And this is what he was saying. The prop guys are wondering about me because I was in a bit of a commotion and in a bit of a struggle with someone else, which I'm hoping you will get to see. So a little bit of a teaser there. There's a major epic lightsaber action happening on the show, and I should mention that I'm the only character in the first season who was able to be honored that had that lightsaber. So he's getting a little cocky there, getting everyone a little bit hyped, and then. Really interesting. They asked him some more questions. He says, and then there was another question, where they're asking him about more information. He says, well, no way. It ain't going to happen, baby. Anything is possible when you keep watching, because although the baby has some incredible power, Baby Yoda, without having to wield the Dark Saber, I think Baby, is just talking about the Force. So he's kind of talking a little bit about how he has to go up against Baby Yoda, who's super powerful. And this is kind of, a balancer in the game of having to fight versus Din Djarin and Baby Yoda and their gang. So, because we know he ended up losing at the end of the Mandalorian season 1, and he needs something to kind of balance the scales a little bit. And the Dark Saber is certainly something that signifies power. So that's really interesting to hear him get personally excited that he's going to be in some fight scenes, and that there's going to be an epic lightsaber duel.
Yeah, and the thing is, we get now deeper into the lore, because we now get into the I think in season 2 we will explore the Force, because he's looking for Baby Yoda's people, right? So and it's clear that there will be a lightsaber fight, as you said. So I think a Jedi will come. Is it who is it? Might be Maul as well. I'll get to that later. I think Maul will play a role in here, but this is me guessing. What did I wanted to say? Sorry, I forgot because I'm following the chat. Yeah, no, and we're getting deeper into like the Force and lightsabers, exploring that, which is super cool, because we started with that Western vibe and like not really deep into the normal Star Wars universe we knew. And I think now that changes a little bit.
So one thing that's really interesting is there's kind of a theory floating out there that Din Djarin might be the one who's supposed to inherit this blade. We don't know which Mandalorian saved him. We don't know, for example, we don't know how many factions were out there, but we do know that Moff Gideon knew a lot about how many numbers there were of the foundlings, and the movement that wasn't the Mandalorians, the people that weren't fighting. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Moff Gideon was involved in the Purge, because that's something that came up a lot with Din Djarin's story in season 1, and something that we saw multiple flashbacks, something that really formed his opinion on how he views the world and just how he interacts with other characters. Like, he's really set in his, like, the helmet comes off because he has to get saved. But he's really in his ways, because he feels like he has a debt to pay for being saved. So I think there's certainly going to be some interesting things that go on there. And I mean, Moff Gideon didn't die at the end of season 1. He just started, like, he just appeared in episode 6 or 7. So really interesting stuff there with the Dark Saber. Any more kind of tidbits and lore that you want to throw out there, Helen, before we move on to the next subject with the Dark Saber?
No. That's it. I think I hope Mora is satisfied. But yeah, I think that there's a lot to learn, and I love that now we get into objects, because in the expanded universe that is very common, and in the last movies we got that got a bit forgotten, that part, So I love that they show these things here.
One thing I will say though is that the Vizsla clan, they have a very unique signet marking. So it'll be interesting to see if we do see them in season 2, because one thing they really focused on was symbolism, and in the signet that Din Djarin ended up getting, and we saw obviously what's it called, the Mudhorn and Baby Yoda. There's kind of this like child and Baby Yoda horn symbol. It's really cool. So that's something that they're going to be talking about again. And we know Star Wars is full of symbolism. So something that we should be on the lookout for. Maybe we will see the Vizsla can and the Death Watch pop up.
And they're kind of, in that universe of the Mandalorians, they're kind of royalty because of Tar Vizsla. And I really think, like the Mandalorian, way is to earn stuff, and earning the saber could also be a part for the Mandalorian, you know, for Jin. Oh gosh, what's his name? Din Djarin.
Yeah, Din Djarin. Yeah.
Din Djarin. So because this is all about this, you know, earning your uniform or earning your sigil, blah blah, blah. And
kind of how you like earn patches and medals in the army.
Yeah, and this is the same with the saber, so it would fit. So maybe he'll get it.
So, Morley, let us know if you're satisfied in the chat, and we'll move on to your other question. There's some more people that I see in here. Katrin, nice to see you back. And Iglesias, nice to see you. Sunflower Beth, Sir Nerdalot, nice to see you. Crackhead Jeremy, that's a really interesting name. The original David Adams. And Douglas Dubois, what's going on? Oh, Voice of Reason is also in chat.
Yeah, Dan. And Lady H of the North had an interesting question. Do you think Inquisitors were lost Force children? I think she probably means, like, you know, because in Rebels, you see that they hunt for Force-sensitive children, just like they now do for Baby Yoda, but that might be other reasons. Yeah, maybe.
Although... we didn't see the appearance of Dr. Pershing after his conversation where Din Djarin was spying through the walls again, and there was certainly something more there because the client's dead now. Like, we didn't even learn more about that, right? Yeah. So that's something we got to learn more about that, don't we?
Yeah, but he's still alive. So Dr. Pershing is alive, so we will learn about that, I'm pretty sure.
Well, actually, let's segue into more.
But we haven't answered. Let's answer the question. Yeah. So I don't think time-wise that would fit, because they are if you see the Inquisitors, they are of age right now. So it wouldn't fit time-wise because they looked later for the babies or during the same time the Inquisitors were around. So I guess those were just Force-sensitive people who then, you know, went to the dark side and tried to kill people like Obi-Wan and tried to help the Emperor clean the planets of the Jedi. So I don't think so.
And one thing that you said there at the end, the Purge connects with that. Emperor Palpatine, Order 66. A lot of that connects with what happened on Mandalore. They were taking those precious metals and building the Death Star and all those things. So everything is connected. One thing that I do want to talk about, Helen, and this is related to Moralise, and thank you for the question, by the way. That's a great question. Moralise has another question, which it relates to Emperor Palpatine. And I had a little theory, and me and you talked about this a little bit in one of our previous podcasts, where we talked about what Dr. Pershing and the clan were doing, maybe connected to some sort of higher power. Like, who did they really answer to? Why did they want this? Why did they want to extract this material from Baby Yoda? And one thing that would make sense is that we got the Rise of Skywalker, and we looked what happened with Emperor Palpatine. So is there a possibility that we see Emperor Palpatine, or at least something to do with him? Because we see him in a weakened state, and he's like, you know what I mean? He has to absorb energy from both Ben Solo and Rey to kind of get going in the final movie of the Skywalker saga. So could we see kind of some, you know, the rise of the First Order, that kind of thing, and maybe some Emperor Palpatine?
Yeah. So I don't think the Emperor will show up, but I do think it could be, you know, that this is the story, the backstory of this. But I don't think if they bring the Emperor in everywhere now, isn't that a bit boring then? I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. People kind of had the same thing to say about, like, the possibility of a young Luke Skywalker. They don't want to kind of, you know, keep on having the same characters.
Well, they said one character from the known Skywalker saga will show up. So I personally think it's Darth Maul, because it would fit time-wise. And I do think because the actor, oh God, what's his name? I think Ray Parks, yeah, because he posted a picture in full Darth Maul gear, And well, I don't really know what he posted there, but yeah, then Twitter went crazy over that. And I think it could be him because, you know, it's the underworld and we could learn a bit more about Black Sun and all that stuff that was hinted at in Solo. So it would fit. So why not? I personally think it's more because Luke and Leia are too young. My second guess would be it could be Bail Organa. So Leia's father. Could fit time-wise as well. And, you know, maybe they bring in the politics. So Star Wars loves politics. So why not?
Because we did hear Gina Caruso's character. What's her name again? Jesus Christ. Why am I forgetting it right now? Chat. My brain.
Hell. Now you make me forget.
Oh my God, chat. I can't believe this happened. This is happening right now.
Well, you know, I can't remember any name, so I'm the worst at this. What's her name? Chat, help us out. Indie Geek is in the chat.
My brain is taking a complete fart right now. Are you guys seeing this?
Whatever her name is, we don't care. Well, the thing is, they said there will be a spin-off show, right? So I personally think it will be Gina Carano's character, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. You think so?
Cara Dune, yeah. Anna, thank you so much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, who else would get a spin-off? Quill is dead. So who would, I mean, maybe, you know, the bad guys, the baddies he used to work with, maybe that's a thing. So they show us that part of the universe, but I don't think so. I think it's Gina Carano. That would make the most sense for me.
And she's just developing her acting chops. She's getting better and better. And she can do all her own stunts and fight scenes and stuff like that.
Well,
so
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of her acting, but it's okay.
but I'm saying she definitely has more skills than your natural actor and actress. Like she can, you know what I mean? She can do a little bit more physically than, you know, some of these actors.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's part of the reason why she was chosen for this role, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
So yeah, that could be a possibility.
Yeah, so I'm interested in the spin-offs, and apparently they come in 21. As what I've heard.
There's no more Disney, no more Star Wars Disney Plus shows coming out in 2021. They have Marvel.
Well, they delayed. Yeah, they delayed everything. They delayed Obi, and they delayed the Cassian Andor story, whatever the real name of that one is. Which is super sad. But did you hear the news that Lucas was on the film set, and Lucas apparently is involved in the Cassian Andor story a little bit?
No, I didn't hear that news.
Yeah,
enlighten everyone, Helen.
No, I just heard that, and I mean he was on the set of the first Mandalorian season as well in the beginning.
I heard that.
Yeah, Favreau posted pictures of them on set. And I think they still are, even though Bob Iger probably doesn't love that, because he called them the white slavers. But I think they still, like people like Favreau and people, all the rebel people. I think
it's rumored that Favreau and Filoni are taking more power from Kathleen Kennedy as far as
And Filoni is the biggest fanboy of Lucas, and they get along really, really well. And as you said, you know, the universe now gets closer and is more and more connected. You see things like the Dark Saber you now see in this series, and that's originally from Rebels and from before from Clone Wars. So that's super interesting. You know, everything gets, like, the universe gets a bit smaller now, even though it expands, but it's more and more connected. And this is what Disney said. So why not?
That was part of the great thing about The Mandalorian season 1. It just dropped us into this familiar yet unfamiliar universe. You know what I mean? Like, we got kind of this other side of the universe, the Star Wars universe, this kind of boots on the ground type of feeling, which I really, really loved. And, you know, there's been these rumors and you know, that we might get like some Darth Maul underworld type of like crime syndicate type of Star Wars stuff in the future. But that's one of the things that really shine for me. And I think, you know, a big reason why, which is what you're saying, Helen, is Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Like Jon Favreau, Marvel mythology, all sorts of great movies. He's a great producer. He understands his stuff. But Dave Filoni has been attached to several different Star Wars projects, so I don't think it's a bad thing at all to give them power going forward, as people really respect them.
And I think Kathleen Kennedy's contract runs out in 1 or 2 years, and everybody, well, the rumors were she is going to resign after the end of after the 9th movie, which was now. And I mean, well, what else is in there? There is no movie coming in the next 3 years, no cinematic movie. They're developing movies, but I think she'll step down now, and I think it's time, because she did a big mess, with all the with the cinematic movies, the last 3.
It was definitely controversial. Let's just say that. I see In Deep Geek in chat. I see Bernie. I see Here Be Dragons. Another great.
Yeah, the boys are streaming. I think.
9?
They are streaming in 1.5 hours.
They're doing Picard, the first 5 episodes, right?
Yes, I loved it. I think it was really good. That was the first Star Wars. Star Trek. I
knew you were going to do
really
that.
Long time.
I'm bound to do it.
Yeah, sorry. Very close. No, I liked it. I think I saw the first 3 or 4. No, 3. Yeah, it's good.
So I haven't watched it yet, but I have heard good things, and I heard it's kind of darker and grittier, like The Expanse. So I'm interested in checking it out. It's just not on my radar right now because I'm all trying to get deep into The Witcher. That sounded weird. I'm not. Anyways, we got a couple of more donations. We got one from, I believe, that's Gina Miller in chat. What's going on, Gina?
All these people stalking us, basically.
Thank you so much, Gina. Yeah, did you have a question, Star Wars question? Let us know if you have one. And then we have a Here Be Dragons. Hey, y'all, can't stay. Got to go get some stuff done. Kyle is killing it as always, and Helen is an amazing guest. Thank you so much for that. Like I said, if you want to go check out another stream tonight and you're a sci-fi fan, Here Be Dragons streaming Picard review of the first 5, kind of overview of the first 5 episodes. So yeah, Helen, what else do we have on our list? So morally, I hope that was satisfactory for the Emperor Palpatine, Dark Saber stuff. Thank you so much, of course, for your donations. And yeah, there's some other cool things that I was searching up. But Helen, we can kind of really take this anywhere.
Well, like maybe we can do some open questions after what we saw in The Mandalorian, because I think one of the main topics is who was the person we saw in, I think that was the 5th episode, when they killed the fugitive, and I forgot that lady's name, but everybody was
Ming-Na. She was also an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, Ming-Na.
Exactly. And so was it Boba Fett? Because you could just see parts of that person. Was it a woman? Was it a man? And what I heard is, because I love the extended universe. So basically, the old Star Wars before Disney took over, and Boba Fett actually had a daughter, and her name was Eileen Vel or something like that. And she was his daughter in the expanded universe. And apparently there's a Funko out. I saw that somewhere on Instagram. And there's a Funko out, and you don't know, and it looks more female than male. And it's apparently that figure that was there in the end, checking out the dead body. So some people say it was Moff Gideon, but for me, it didn't look like him. So maybe it's not, because a lot of people were speculating it's Boba, but Boba should be dead, right?
I don't think Boba Fett is alive.
Exactly. So, and Filoni and all these people love bringing characters from the expanded universe, right? So it could be that they're introducing not Boba because he's dead, although everybody screamed for a Boba movie. So now they bring his daughter, which would actually be super cool. I think that's one of the open questions, because Dark Saber, you can Google that and the history. We talked about that, but that was one of the open questions. Who was that person? And I don't think it was Moff Gideon. Wouldn't make sense, because he was introduced later, because the big baddie, he was there at the end.
Yeah, and I think it's real. Like I don't think it's Boba Fett. I had a bunch of people yelling in my comment section, saying I was stupid or saying it was Moff Gideon and stuff like that. But I honestly don't care. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seemed to me like there could be a connection between that assassin and Moff Gideon. Just the way the work was rolling around. Grief Karga was talking about how hard it is to get work everywhere. So I found that really interesting. But that. I never knew that. Like, see, I don't know as much as the extended universe as you do, but now I'm interested to learn about it. I'm like, damn, like I want to learn more about.
I have all the books and comics. I love the comics, but no, I literally have all the books. I can send you lots of audiobooks if you want to.
I know you were trying to do that before, and I kind of was like, I have other stuff to do. So yeah.
It's been a while though, so I don't know everything, but I remember that because it was weird that he had a daughter. It doesn't fit to their lifestyle and everything.
So actually, let's talk a little bit about this, and then we'll ask chat. And this would kind of be a fun way to snowball into some, kind of cool topics. What are you most looking forward to in season 2? Because it looks like we're going to get the same amount of episodes, which is great, and it's going to come out earlier in October. Like I said, we certainly. We're really excited about the Dark Saber stuff. The Mandalorian mythology was certainly something that stood out in season 1 for me. All of that, Lord, like I want to learn more about these beasts and these signets and stuff like that. Do you think we see an epic fight with the sigil that we saw above the armorer's location?
What do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean?
What's the beast name that Boba Fett fought and killed?
Boba Fett. The beast that Boba Fett killed?
Yeah, you know what the skull above the armor thing?
But are you talking about Din Djarin now or Boba Fett?
No, Helen, above the armor where
Yeah.
Yeah, that signet, that sigil? What's that monster called again?
Boba's uniform.
Above the armorer, the mythosaur.
Yeah.
You think we will see a mythosaur?
But is that on Boba Fett's uniform?
I thought it was on his gun. I thought I saw it on his gun.
On before. The gun. Okay. I thought on his. Yeah. Okay. I was like, what symbol was on Boba Fett's uniform?
I'm like trying to tell you. Are we going to see a mythosaur?
Yeah. Well, apparently they're dead, but but there are a lot of people coming back from the dead. The Emperor, Darth Maul, people who got cut in half. So maybe, yeah, why not? I mean, there's lots of foreshadowing and symbolism, so it would be cool. Yeah.
I mean, we got the ATST. It's not like they couldn't pull it off VFX wise.
Yeah, no, definitely. They have enough money for that.
And we got those damn sand people. You know what I mean? Oh my God! You guys are making it rain today. Helen, you take this one. Here be dragons.
Oh yay! Fun fact: Helen will be my guest next week. For I know that Nad. Kyle has already been my guest for that series. And question: will the
incarcerated?
I don't know that word.
Incarcerated means imprisoned.
Okay. Crew from episode 6 return in season 2. I hope so, Stephen. Because I really did like that plot. I mean, the ship exploded, but the other ones are still in the prison on that prison ship, so they are still alive. So I hope so. I really like them. I thought the acting was a bit over the top, especially from that Twilight girl. I don't remember her name.
Natalie Tain?
His former lover. But
she was in Game of Thrones. She was Osha. You're gonna have some Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was exactly.
And she was in Harry Potter as well.
I've never seen Harry Potter, and I never will.
I'm tempted to boot you off the stream right now. I'm a huge
do it. Yeah, so Stephen, I hope so, because I think that's cool, and they were not left alive for no reason. So I think they'll be back.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility. I mean, all sorts of connections from the Din Djarin's past popping up. So I think it's a possibility that we might see them again. And the one thing that I thought was really cool too in the way they structured the episodes, like each episode had its own unique feel. So there could be like in episode 4 or 5, there could be another one of those types of episodes, like a side quest again. Because there were a lot of those. There was like 3 or 4 episodes that really focused on the main plot, and then we kind of had all like these journeys. And I personally really like the monster. I don't want to say monster of the week, but monster of the week style episodes where we had, you know, kind of these new antagonists that the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda had to evade. And I'm sure more people know about it now that they had that big showdown and Moff Gideon is pissed. So so maybe they end up working for him or something like that, because they know the Mandalorian. Maybe like they can be employed or something like that. I don't know. I'm just going off the top of my head, but I certainly think they could make an appearance.
Well, I think they are people who work for somebody who offers them the most money, right? So I don't think they care for fractions or anything. But I think there's another fraction out there, and they're part of that. And you know, I like that side quest thing because it, as I said, it makes the universe bigger. And I love if we go to places that are not Mos Eisley cantina bars and other places, you know, we haven't seen. I really love that. And it doesn't have to be Tatooine, everything Tatooine, you know. I love that you learn more about this universe, because if you look, you know, I love maps. And if you look on the maps, there's so many, like the Outer Rim and all that stuff. And it's so interesting. And I want to learn more about that. And this is how they started, you know, they told you about a place that's not where the politics and everything is, like the New Republic and everything is very, very far away there. And I love that vibe. And
we kind of saw that with Omira and the Fishing Planet, where we saw the ATST.
Yeah,
and she's someone that could pop up again too. So they kind of did do that in season 1, right, Helen? Like where they kind of implanted these characters that they're setting up to come back in the future. I did feel like they did do a lot of that. Like we're going to see Grief Karga again for sure. Gina Carano. Those are kind of like bigger characters, but like some of the more minor ones, I think they could definitely pop up again.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So what I'm looking forward is really like now, and because, you know, I love the Force and I even love the midichlorians and all that. So I really want to see like this thing behind the Dr. Pershing thing. Like, what is this about? Is this really the Emperor who wants to like use Baby Yoda's power to revitalize himself? Sorry, I'm so tired today. Like I forgot all the words.
Helen has been working like crazy. We were supposed to do this earlier in the week, and I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll reschedule for another day.
Yeah,
Sunday's a good day for that.
I'm sorry, people. I had a crazy weekend. I forgot all my words. It's hard to speak English at
me and you
11.
both. Like, you apparently, me and you didn't know what the mythosaur was.
Well, my excuse is I'm a foreigner. What's your excuse?
I love look at how much snow is outside. Can't you guys see?
Yeah,
numbing my brain.
Yeah, no. So I'm really looking forward to that part. You know, exploring like the mythical part of it, and then I want politics to come in, because why did I love Palpatine? I didn't love Palpatine because he's the big baddie, but because he took over the galaxy with politics. Well, with other stuff as well, but with the help of politics. And I always love that aspect of Star Wars. And I hope we maybe get 1 or 2 episodes, you know, where they are in other regions and we learn. Oh, wait, my cat is showing up. Cat. And I really want to see that, maybe, because it was teased and hinted at, you know, because he said, okay, come.
Yes, make it a cat stream.
Yay.
We want to see you know what? We want to see more cats.
Well, I have 3, but the other one, I don't know what.
What's that one cat called again that scares Yoda?
Oh God, today I can't. Baby Yoda. Loth cat.
Yeah, the Loth cat. The Loth cat.
Yeah,
My God.
Yeah. She's so cute. Yeah, so I really want to see that part of the galaxy as well. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward. And then, learning more about the Force and seeing a Jedi and all that coming in. But I don't want that to take over. That's my main point.
Well, one thing that was really interesting that I thought, can be maybe analyzed in a couple of different ways is when Din Djarin, our Mandalorian, talks about, I'm going to take him to see his people. Now, does that mean Yoda's actual race, or does that mean the Jedi? You know what I mean? Because it didn't seem like Din Djarin and Quill, they were like, they didn't really know. They're like, I kind of think I know what's going on, but like he's, his kinetic energy, and he was like lifting stuff. Like they didn't know exactly like the words to define everything that was happening. So I'm really interested to see if those words mean the Jedi, which I think it does. So I don't necessarily, if we're going to get like a huge village of Yoda people, then we wouldn't get Baby Yoda back, I don't think. But what we could find is maybe find the ruins of a place, and maybe find that they're all gone, and maybe, Yoda and Yaddle and this little Baby Yoda was kind of like the last of his kind. We see a lot of these type of stories in mythology. Daenerys and Jon Snow are the last of the Targaryens, and Jon Snow is the only one that's left. So it's that kind of thing going on. So
yeah, and the thing is, the Jedi became a myth, and I think this is what they're showing with that. Because remember when Rey and all the others reacted to, Luke lives on that island and the Jedi and blah blah, and everybody was, what? I thought this is just a myth and blah blah. And Han was actually the same when they started talking about the Force. And I love that they show this here as well, that this is so far away from them, and they deal with their normal everyday problems. And the Force and Jedi, that's like a foreign concept, and they've almost forgotten about that. And it were not the Jedi in the end that, Luke was literally one of the only Jedi that helped then, because we're now in the time when they took over from Palpatine, and that wasn't the Jedi destroying. Nobody probably knew that, because in the old legends, even Leia, she doesn't tell the people that Darth Vader, for reasons, but she doesn't tell the people who Darth Vader was, and that he was her father and everything. Nobody knows about the Jedi. Nobody cares about the Jedi, and I really like that aspect to show up here.
One thing too that is really interesting about the Mandalorian, and I think that we should talk about a little bit, is the cast of directors that we got in season 1. There was Bryce Dallas Howard. Her father, of course, was connected to Solo, and he's a great director. He's
he tried to save Solo.
He tried to save Solo. Rick Famuyiwa, who did a lot of the Lone Wolf and Cub, the old samurai movie, Western vibe stuff. And I believe he did episodes 4 and 7. So that was Taika Waititi. Rumor that he might be coming back. But Rian Johnson might be getting an episode in season 2. And I know a lot of people have issues with The Last Jedi. However, I think he would be perfect to direct an episode of The Mandalorian, because it's different than the Skywalker saga, and I actually think that would be a great inclusion for season 2. So there's a little rumor about that. Let's talk a little bit about that. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, of course, are the showrunners. Jon Favreau is going to be directing an episode. There's going to be a nice mix of directors. So what do you think about that? Possibility of Rian Johnson or some other, bigger names getting a chance and swing at a Mandalorian episode in season 2?
Well, first of all, I didn't mind for the first time. I didn't mind that there were different directors. I think it worked in Game of Thrones, but that was filmed differently, and there was a story because there were books and everything. But here, and they stayed almost true to the books, or tried to stay true to the books, at least as long as there were books, right? So that was okay to have different directors. Then at the cinematic movies, I think it was a complete disaster. But here, I didn't feel like it, and the thing is, all the episodes were really, really different. As you said, they gave us different vibes. That one on that jail ship, on that prison ship. That was like Space Odyssey or like Event Horizon, if people remember Event Horizon, one of my
Kind
favorite
of had an
movies ever.
alien vibe too.
Alien vibes, everything, everything was so different, and I loved it. And I didn't mind it because it's not. I mean, the story still, like it drove the story, and the character didn't change that much, although the character changed from episode to episode, but that's his journey, right? So it was really cool, and every director brought something else out in the character Din Djarin, like that really quiet, let's say quiet one with on that planet, which Bryce Dallas Howard directed, which was like we can breathe now, and he could see a glimpse of a possible life for later and that stuff. It's really cool. So it worked here. So I don't mind if they do the exact same thing for season 2. I don't need big names. I think I don't. Yeah, and somebody, Douglas Dubois, is saying I think Carl Weathers is directing one too. I heard that as well, which would be cool. I really like that.
Jeremy in chat has something. Sorry, I was just gonna say Jeremy has another interesting question in chat as well. We'll get to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rian Johnson. I don't mind if he directs anything here. He's a good director. It was not really his fault, was it? Though I don't know. It was. When people make mistakes, sometimes the boss has to step in, and because there needs to be an overall vision, and that was lacking. And there wasn't anybody saying, you guys talk to each other before you do a trilogy, right? And please talk to each other and make it plausible and make it like people get that this is a 3-part movie and not a standalone, and another standalone movie. So that was my problem. Was it his fault? Partly, maybe.
Because the actors and actresses spoke very, very highly of him.
Yeah.
Especially Adam Driver, who just won Actor of the Decade. So I have a lot of respect for their opinions, especially Adam Driver, who has unlimited range as an actor. So
yeah, but still, it's true. But the characters were like literally different in every movie, and that was
I think we also have to give some of the blame to J.J. Abrams, though. And a lot of people just want to pile it all on Rian Johnson, and I think that's a little unfair because J.J. Abrams did start off this new trilogy, and he made a lot of creative choices. Just saying.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he should have stayed. If somebody would offer me Star Wars, I would be like, hell yeah, I do every movie you give me. But again, oh well. Yeah.
I'm the director of the next Star Wars trilogy.
Well, I've been a producer for 2 years, so hire me. No, my biggest thing now is I want to have a role in the upcoming Lord of the Rings series. I do anything. I literally play an orc, like a tiny orc.
I wish I could clip that and put it as like a voice. I don't know, something. That's just awesome.
Yeah, we need to Twitter it. Helen will play an orc, tiny orc, in the background doing something. Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, so that is something that's really interesting too, and there's been talk, because like Marvel and Disney, and they're kind of all the same thing now. There might be some Marvel directors that might come over, something like that. Interesting. Don't have 100%. Confirmation on all the directors for season 1, but as soon as it happens, definitely I'll try to make a video on that so we can get maybe a better idea of some of the things that we might get with that. But that's certainly something that I think like some of the episodes felt they were pretty short. You know what I mean? I could do without the 30-minute episode. Like 45 minutes seems pretty good. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily need to be an hour, but give me longer episodes. So hopefully. And I mean, it was the first season, right? They will toy around and change things and evaluate what's good and bad and what worked and what didn't. So hopefully they're looking at things like that.
Yeah, sorry, people support me in my casting.
Start a petition, chat. Start a petition. Helen play orc in Lord of the Rings. So chat, let's open it up to some more questions. What would you like to most see in season 2? And just anything that's kind of on your mind about The Mandalorian, let us know, and we'll answer some questions.
Yeah.
And happy Sunday, by the way, again, everyone. Thanks for joining us here today on while me and Helen are pretty much brain dead. Like, I don't know how we're pulling this one off today. We're both really tired. We're both really tired, but we're like, okay, we can't reschedule again. So
Yeah, in the comment section later, who's that chick? She's like, what does she know?
John Haymaker says, Helen will direct. I have spoken. You get enough people making comments like that. I think that they'll have no choice but to hire Helen as a director.
No, I want to play a role. Anyway, so people start asking questions. They are now just saying this is the way. Oh man.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. That's one of my favorite quotes. I mean, I think that might be the single best line from the Arcs and the Three Movies. You know what's funny? Well, let's tell a little quick story while we're getting some questions. When I went over to London to go hang out with Gemma and Robert and Gina and
Helen.
And Helen.
For Helen's birthday.
For Helen's birthday. The jet lag was so bad. And then Gina almost killed me with trains. So I slept. So we had a day, the last day that we were all together, we said that we were going to watch the extended Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I literally slept for 3/4 of it. I was just absolutely knackered from walking all around London. The Canadian the jet lag was just killing me. And I mean, we have to do a rewatch. I feel like I fumbled the ball on that one.
Yeah, we can do it in Orlando.
Okay, now we got some questions now.
Yeah.
Douglas Dubois, just a comment. The main thing I want to learn more about is lore relating to the Purge on Mandalore. That's my number one too, as well, Douglas. What else have we got to see? Helen, you take a couple.
Yeah, they're talking about JJ. I want to stop talking about JJ now. Because I like JJ, John.
Lady H of the North says, will you be doing a video on Clone Wars? I mean, we certainly could. Are you all caught up, Helen? The new season, the final season of Rebels is coming out right now. Or is it Clone Wars? Which one just dropped on Disney Plus?
Rebels.
One of them, yeah, Rebels. So there's that.
Clone Wars.
Yeah, there's the seventh season is dropping right now.
Yeah.
So, and there's some awesome stuff with the Shoka and all that. What is it dropping already, or is it dropping like tomorrow? I don't know. It's soon.
In a few days. Yeah, it's soon. I saw another trailer. I mean, we can. Because
Jeremy's been mentioning this in chat a couple of different times now.
Yeah.
The ones on Mortis need to be explored. We need to know more about the mother, Abeloth, and all that. I don't know if they're necessarily going to make a show about that. They might make I don't know, an hour-long animation or something on that. I don't know. Yeah, that could be something that they explore more.
Yeah, and the world between worlds thingy, I think that should get caught up again. And yeah, like Abeloth, again, a character actually from the extended universe. Amazing story. Luke tries to kill her literally 500 books. There are literally 500 books out there where Luke tries to kill Abeloth.
Well, there was a rumor that they were going to do something with Exegol. A movie.
Yeah, I saw that. Because it's not cool, to have that. And this is what I criticize JJ for. I don't know is this his fault? Is there an extended cut? Because the rumors were, there's another cut where things are explained. And Exegol would be amazing because I think in the Visual Dictionary or somewhere it is explained how all that came to place and that the people who lived there and how Palpatine planned everything. This is really cool. I don't know if it was
JD Dillard and Matt Owens. I'm seeing it. I just Google searched it again here because it popped up in my head. It says new Star Wars movie set on the Sith planet Exegol reportedly in the works. And there's multiple. Yeah, so that's something that maybe might be kind of up your alley there. Jeremy, kind of with the world between worlds. Because that's kind of how I felt when I first saw it. I was like, oh, like that? Are they going there with Palpatine? Is that how? We didn't really get any explanation on that. So that
and in Rebels, the Palpatine was there and he fought. Who did he? Well, Darth Vader fought. Oh my God, his former apprentice. Oh my God, tonight I'm I'm brain dead. What's her name? Oh God, shame on me. Okay, whatever. They fought, and then I think Ezra fought the Emperor. No, the Emperor was in the world between worlds as well. So yeah.
That's something that we could see. I mean, it's a rumor. I don't want to say like, hey, yeah,
Yeah,
for
there
sure.
were many rumors about, what Dan and Dave, Old Republic, and there were so many rumors. So I don't know.
Maybe that's something that they overtake.
Ashoka. Oh my God, John, thank you.
Oh, I love Ashoka. She's my favorite character. Her and Obi-Wan are like my favorites, I think.
Yeah. Well, she was so annoying in the beginning of Clone Wars. I was like, first and second season, I was like, oh God, no.
Then she breaks bad. She becomes
And
so badass.
yeah. Ashoka's amazing.
We're all Ashoka standing in the chat. Ahsoka, yeah. Sorry, I say Ahsoka. My bad.
Whatever.
Well, we can't even pronounce anything today. We can't even get the names of things. I couldn't even remember the mythosaur today. So thank you, people in chat.
I didn't even understand what you were asking.
Yeah, let's check out.
But I have this.
Oh my God, they have a Quill one?
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
I ordered a lot of Baby Yoda stuff. It's not here yet because it takes forever to ship to Germany. But Quill, I love him.
Oh, that looks awesome. I have your Palpatine one up. Where is it? Ugh, right there. The Palpatine is right there.
Yeah, I give my friends all their favorite or I give my
your favorites to me.
Yeah, the baddies, obviously.
I have Tormund up over there, and then Ghost is right there. There's Ghost, Palpatine, and then Tormund in the corner.
That's a very weird mixture. Ghost, Palpatine, and Tormund. Like, what have they in common? I want to know.
I also have Sauron and 1-1 in my casing over here.
Sauron is also from me.
Yeah, you always send me the villains. Are you trying to tell me something that you want someone to kill me or something? Get rid of your little brother?
I gave you my favorite characters. I think I gave Robert his very favorite characters for his birthday. And
I did give you a cool lion painting, though.
Yeah, you did. It's in the office for the lion people.
John Haymaker says IG-11. He's gone for sure. Taika Waititi did a great job with that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Taika came back and voice another character or something like that. I don't think we'll see him act out a specific character. But there was a lot of Rick Famuyiwa and other directors were the TIE fighters that blew up the big prison ship.
Yeah.
The
and Jon Favreau was the fat Mandalorian
with the Gatling gun, the laser Gatling gun.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I think we're going to see a lot more of that. We always, there's always going to be room, especially for directors and actors. They'll bring their friends in, like Daniel Craig, for example. He had, he was in The Force Awakens. He was one of the stormtroopers. They'll always kind of have Easter eggs like that. People come in and there will be cool castings and stuff like that for people that, want to come and appear in a Star. It's their dream to be an extra in a Star Wars episode or movie or something like that. So I think we'll see a lot of more great characters show up in season 2 of The Mandalorian. I'm certainly excited. Like I said, I want to learn more about Mandalorian's culture. So I hope they'll do some more flashbacks or maybe some time jumps, and we can get to learn more about his parents or the people that saved Din Djarin. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. People are talking about Funkos now in chat. We've distracted them.
I think Atlanta didn't he also have a cameo? I'm just thinking where. He was one of the guys who then almost got shot. I don't remember in which scene, but yeah, they bring in lots of people. It's really cool.
Nora Lee, thank you for joining. Really, really appreciate you, of course. Your generosity knows no bounds. We really, really appreciate that. And I see Sunflower Beth is also taking off. We're going to go for a few more minutes here. Probably go for another 10. We'll just, chat. It's been a while. Any more projects let's talk a little bit of what's going on with your channel, Helen. You're doing a lot more Lord of the Rings streaming content.
Yeah, a lot. I finally have a channel for everybody who sorry, my hair. For everybody who didn't check it out, I think somebody dropped it in the chat earlier, or you might put it in.
I have it in the description of the video.
Yeah, perfect. So it's the Clueless Fangirl, and yeah, I started my channel last year, like end of last year, and obviously I'm doing Lord of the Rings, and I want to do Star Wars as well, but now I'm focusing on Lord of the Rings, and yeah, I have lore videos, and I do live streams with the lovely John, who's also in the chat.
John Webster, yeah.
John Webster. Yes, we do epic live streams every 2 weeks, and it's so much fun. And I do a podcast with Carol as well, of the Fellowship of the Bling, where we discuss like more philosophical topics in Tolkien's world, like religion and war and other stuff that influenced Tolkien. And yeah, and then the regular lore videos as well. And I just started a new series on places in Middle Earth you don't know, nothing like the Shire or stuff like that, but more like I just wrote my first video on that, and it's about Angmar and the Witch King of Angmar.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I want to continue with Gondor and Rohan and all the places and Numenor and everything, so people can prepare, because the show is coming out in 1.5 years approximately, and so people can prepare and get some back knowledge. It's very geeky and very deep, but if you're interested, go check it out.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. I need to catch up a little bit on that. There is a lot of different fantasy shows in the works. There's Lord of the Rings, of course. We don't know exactly when that's going to be coming out, but there's that. Of course, we don't know. House of the Dragon is rumored 2021, 2022, which is pretty far away, which is kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. And then, of course, there's the Wheel of Time, which a lot of people have been talking about. So really, really interesting to see how many fantasy projects are kind of coming to light now since the inception of Game of Thrones and the popularity of that. And now it's like sci-fi too. The Expanse, Mandalorian, everything's just kind of coming out there. The Witcher, super extra popular. That's kind of what I'm focusing on for the next little bit. So it's just a really exciting time for television and movies.
Yeah, and it's good, because Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire left like a gap, and I think that gap can be filled now with a lot of stuff. And not everybody's into the Star Wars lore and everything. So I think like The Witcher and Lord of the Rings coming up, I think that is really, really cool, because this is how all of you guys started with Game of Thrones, and how everybody here met. I think everybody in the chat and from that community. And yeah, I didn't see that much negativity in the last month, so this is why I got back into the Game of Thrones community. It got a bit quieter, although there's some drama still going on sometimes. But
I stayed away from that. Thank
yeah,
you.
but the thing is, I don't know. I think the Lord of the Ring community is very different, and I kind of like that. And this is why I dared to make videos and everything. And there are books as well out. People since 70, 80 years have been reading these books, and it's not as crazy as the Game of Thrones one, but it got a bit quieter. So, it will start again probably when the new series is out or the new books will be out. But yeah,
I've really enjoyed the Witcher community. Like it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's really, really interesting, because when you start something new, there is some anxiety about it's not necessarily a numbers thing, but it's like, hey, will people like what I'm creating? Because basically I created my whole fan base, my subscribers, mainly off Game of Thrones. So it's like, there's this little bit of anxiety when you're getting into something new and you have to prepare yourself mentally. Like, how are people going to react to my videos? You know what I mean? And I try not to think too much about it, because ultimately I create content that I enjoy. Otherwise, you'll just go crazy if you're just making something simply to appease someone else. And that's what you're doing with your Lord of the Rings stuff. You're such a huge fan of that, and that translates when you're making your videos. People see that.
And the thing is, why did I give myself the name The Clueless Fangirl? Because people have been asking. I choose that name wisely, people. So I'm clueless. I'm just talking.
It's because you're funny. Sometimes.
So sometimes, but German, I'm really funny.
There is a lot like we were talking a little bit about Westworld. that's not necessarily your favorite thing, but you said you watched the trailer, and I've talked.
What?
Like,
I love Westworld.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Must have been another show. But anyways, yeah, Westworld looks amazing. Season 3 looks phenomenal. That's something I'll be covering on the channel. And me and me and In Deep Geek. I was going In Deep Geek. I couldn't pronounce it. Me and In Deep Geek are going to be teaming up to do some streams and content for that. And that comes out in like March 15th. So it's really interesting, just, like Disney Plus shows are going to be coming out, Marvel stuff. And then there's this big wait until, like, who knows when we're going to get the next Game of Thrones book. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm so over trying to predict or actually, like, get excited for what, like, if it just drops, that's cool. I've kind of just dropped all expectations for that. So that's kind of how I feel about Game of Thrones right now. It'll always be one of my first loves because that's where I started, but it's just, I don't know. Well, George R. Martin, I want the next book, but I just don't. I just don't think it's coming up this year again. Like, there's no news on it.
John Haymaker, have you ever questioned the nature of your reality? Well, John Haymaker, I don't think I'm a droid. I'm definitely aging. So, although maybe it's my program.
Beep bop boop. I'm Helen. Hello. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so a lot of really diverse opinions in chat, Anna says, time is daunting for me. I was talking to about this with Helen earlier. I'm like, if I were to, I was like, this is something I could cover because it's fantasy. I knew so much about Song of Ice and Fire. I would have to read all the books, and I would feel like when I want to talk about something, I want to feel like I actually know it and don't sound like a dumbass. You know what I mean? And that's just such an important thing. Like, I couldn't cover Lord of the Rings like Helen because I don't know the history of it other than like the main series. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I tried to make it, people would ask me questions and I'd be like, what? So.
Well, the thing is, if you love something, why do you have to know everything about it? You can just talk about what you like and what you enjoy about the stuff I don't think you have to be. And this is why I don't like these people who are so super judgy. Oh, you haven't read that book. Oh, you haven't read that book. No, but I can still talk about stuff. And for my own opinion, and literature is art, and I can stand in front of a Picasso and I see something, or Picasso is maybe weird, but a Miro or something. You see 2 dots, right, and then a black background, and I see something completely different than you do. And this is the same with literature. I can take, I'm from Germany, I'm this and that age, I have this and this education, so obviously I read different things out of even a book where we read the same letters, but I take something different out of it than you do because you're from Canada and you're whatever, and this is the fun thing about it, and this is why I don't like when people are, no, you're completely wrong. No, I'm not. This is my truth, and I'm happy with that, and I like to be taught new things or given new ideas or listen to people who might have other ideas, but that doesn't mean my idea is wrong. And this is, what turned me so off of some communities. I'm not name shaming here, but yeah. So, and it's actually, isn't that the beauty of art? And literature is art.
That's one thing too. Like, I considered covering other things, but then I was like, I just want to enjoy them without covering them. You know what I mean? And there's always this urge to be like, oh, like, I want to talk about this stuff with people because that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy conversing about, like, Game of Thrones, whatever, Star Wars, Marvel stuff. And I don't know. I kind of seen a little bit about that. Like, I today, actually, I was on Facebook and I kind of went to a guy and he said, duh, read the books to someone who was asking a question about, The Witcher season 2. And I said, I educated him in a nice paragraph. I didn't swear or anything, but I was like, and then 10 other people were like, yeah, let's let that person read the books at their own pace. Stop acting like that. And that's what I like about the Witcher community. It's like, nobody wants any of that. People kind of already experienced a little bit of that with the Game of Thrones community. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Game of Thrones community. It's just but people are so hyped about it's specific characters and everything. They already have it made up in their mind what it is, you know.
Yeah, but the Witcher community, I think just really a handful of people have read the books. I think most of the people who came into it watched, played, or knew about the game actually. And I don't know. I mean, I read the Witcher books like literally 8 years ago or something, and I loved them. And then I forgot about them a bit, and I don't think many people, and I think this is why it's easier in that community. I think people don't have that many prejudices, and they now start reading the books, and maybe that will happen. Sanri's in the chat, my lioness, my lion sister. And yeah, and I think, you know, that's the good thing about that community right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think too, one of the things is people have been waiting so long for the next book to come out. They're just like I need this, and this is something that they need for their fulfillment. But it does make me sad that we won't be getting another Game of Thrones show for a while. I sincerely hope that we are going to get another one as soon as possible, so I can, because I love interacting with people in the community, and I want to go to events and be on panels and talk with people about this kind of stuff and create content, which ultimately helps me make new friends, which is really what I like to do the most, is just make new friends and talk about nerdy shit. That's
I think I said that years ago on your first stream. I said, I do not have friends I can talk to about this. They think I'm the weirdest person ever if I mention all these Lord of the Ring theories I have, or Game of Thrones series, or whatnot, or Star Wars. And I never had people I could talk to. Now I have my channel, and I just can blabber on. And if you want, you can listen to or not, or John has to listen to me, and it's awesome. And if you reach just one person and discuss with that person, or she's happy she can listen to your thoughts, it's like what I came for, and it's so cool. And I think it gave all of us a platform which wasn't there before, and that's the positive thing. And I think the Star Wars fandom, you know, it's been there since forever. I think it's one of the oldest, biggest fandoms I remember. I mean, Lord of the Rings had a big fandom, but it was very geeky, very bookish people. I think that the movies themselves, they had fans, but there wasn't a platform people talked about. At least I didn't know one. You know, there are these Tolkien societies in every country, but that's very bookish people. Not in a bad way, but Star Wars always had this on very early on, the online thing, and it's a bit evil. And you saw that in the Ryan Johnson thing. And John Haymaker saying Star Trek had an older fandom. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But you know, like the community itself and platforms came up in when the online thing really came up. I mean, conventions. Yeah, you're right, John Haymaker. Maybe conventions.
Those are becoming, you know, super hyper popularized now, right? Because we're getting big movie trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that's really interesting too, and it's kind of funny because it happened a couple weeks ago. Everybody knows how much I love snacks, especially Helen and friends, because I did a bunch of snack runs in London, UK. When I was at and so the city I live in, there's a lot of ESL students. Like they come from India or the Middle East, and they come over here and they try to get jobs as doctors or just mechanics and stuff like that. They come here, and I was at the store getting snacks. He goes, "Azora hype," and I go, "What?" He goes, "Man, I love your videos." I'm like, "What?" And I was at the goddamn snack store. Okay, and so I was like, to me that was really weird, but it really made my day. You know what I mean? Because I stopped and I had a conversation. It was late at night. It was like midnight. Nobody came in for a little while. So I had a 10-minute conversation with this guy, and he's from another part of the world. He was born in India. And we were having a conversation, and we had so much in common. You know, I never thought I would ever have a conversation with this guy other than saying, "Hey, thank you for serving me," whatever. Yeah. But that was super cool. And just the other day, I was on Twitch, and I like to watch gaming people to watch. There was this first-person shooter that I like to watch, and there was 15,000 people in the chat one day. And I was chatting with someone, and they're like, "Oh, I like your name. Are you the YouTuber Azora Hype?" And then 10 people said I watch your videos, and then we were having a conversation in a gaming stream. So I was just like, that to me is so cool. That's the power of the fucking internet. It's so
and I think even
really mind blowing.
And I think Gemma told the same story. Like once she was shopping somewhere, not in her town, somewhere else, London, York, wherever, and she said the same thing. Somebody was like, "Wait a moment, are you?" And that all started with the live streams, right? Because before people just knew your voices because you did the lore videos just editing and not showing your faces. And I think that also changed. You can see it in many communities and many channels now that they started this live streaming thingy to give their channel a face to, so people can put a face to the voice, which is nice. I mean, I thought about it if I want to do it or not, because many creepy people out there.
I think it is. I think it is a little bit different as a woman, for sure, because people try to slide in your DMs and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People have tried to slide in my DMs to slide in your DMs, so it's like, hey.
I told Gemma or you guys earlier that I always post on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, the Clueless Fangirl. I posted a picture of a Funko and me, because I always do that, because I have a Funko for every opportunity. And then somebody said, can you send me nudes with Funkos? I pay really well. And then I sent back, how much money are we talking? Didn't get a reply.
Then you reply $1 million.
Yeah, so no, never. But it's very weird, and I have to get used to it because I'm a very private person. But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, John Haymaker, I'm not going to read out your question live, but yes, to answer your question, I have had that. And Helen, I've had to ask Helen advice before on what to do on things like that. It's been there is some pretty crazy interactions that go down sometimes online. But for the most part, like 99% of interactions are really cool. It's like, oh,
Mandy's our stalker. And we love it.
So I think this is we've had a nice little wholesome chat to end the stream here. It's been really fun. Helen's been working a lot. I've been working on lots of videos. I already got a video prepared for tomorrow. We're talking about, I did one yesterday on the possibility of Mark Hamill, speaking of Star Wars, might be in The Witcher as old Papa Vesemir, Geralt's mentor. So that's really exciting. But tomorrow I'm dropping a video on 3 new Witchers being cast, Cohen, Lambert, and Eskel. So that's really exciting. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see, because they've got a lot of talent. Like they really nailed the castings for me in season 1. I feel really like, and more people like, I want to go buy the books for a giveaway. Someone won a giveaway I did on Facebook, and it was crazy. I went on Amazon and the books were sold out. I had to go buy them from some bookshop in that area from where that person lived in the United States. So a lot of people, it's really cool. I feel like the off season, it's kind of like the Game of Thrones off season, where more and more people are getting excited about The Witcher, and there's tons of books and games, and it's just a really exciting time. So lots of Witcher videos coming up for me, and I got a stream next week for everybody that's here. If you're interested, Aziz is coming on Friday. We're doing a book club. Novellin, Christopher Hivju just got cast as one of the short story characters, the Fantastic Beast, as I like to call him. Aziz is coming on for the Witcher Book Club on Friday. And then Saturday, I got the super famous YouTuber Robert Indeep Geek. He's coming on Saturday for Witcher Season 2 talk.
Yeah, Aziz is coming to my channel as well. I made him reread Lord of the Rings, as I did make John read all the standalone books of the 3 great tales. And Aziz is coming in like a week on my channel as well.
So lots of cool videos coming on the channel. Please go subscribe to Helen's channel, the Clueless Fangirl. Subscribe if you enjoyed this. Pretty much everyone in chat is already subscribed, and we already know you. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the amazing donations and the generosity, all the awesome questions, all the awesome comments, all the awesome conversation. We really, really appreciate you. And if you're looking for a little more content to go enjoy tonight, Here Be Dragons is streaming, I believe 7 p.m. EST, Helen. I can't remember what time it is.
Yeah, I think in 45 minutes.
Okay, so 6. Is it 6? Are they in chat right now?
I think John is in the chat. John, say what time, because I'm on another time, but I think in 45 minutes ish. I think they always start at midnight my time.
So, John, if you want to post the link as we're getting off here in the description.
He can't.
Of the video.
He's not a mod.
Oh, yeah, we'll fix that. One second.
Can you find? Yeah.
Well, goddamn, just put it. Everybody's have wrenches, anyways. But yeah, thanks for joining, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for putting up with our forgetfulness today. Certainly, wow. But yeah, really, really fun. Everyone that watched the video, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in another podcast coming soon. We get some more news on Star Wars stuff. See you again soon. Bye.
Bye.